Alright, so let's get going. Last time we logged into AWS. Now remember, just a refresher that AWS, like any other infrastructure as a service cloud, has a region. A region is a big physical area. Within that region, you have 2 to 8 availability zones, smaller physical area. Suppose a region would be like the size of Ontario, or more or less, and availability zones could be one availability zone, maybe this Greater Toronto area, and the other availability zone could be London area, right? That's London, Ontario area. So the data centers, so isolated physical areas within the regions, and then within each availability zone there are 2 to 8 data centers. So suppose our Greater Toronto area is which is a combination of 5 or 6, 7 cities there, right? Nearby. So data centers would be just a few kilometers apart from each other to offer redundancy and replication of virtual machines and data. So that would be, suppose, one data center in Toronto, one in Mississauga, which is just like 45 kilometers away, and then the other one, Ajax, like 40-50 kilometers away. So just a few kilometers away, the data centers are apart, so they could just offer replication to the other data, for the virtual machines and data that is placed on top of the data center. Okay. Then we took some screenshots as well. Hopefully you've uploaded those screenshots up there at the end of the class. We were talking about IAM, Identity and Access Management of AWS. Now, before we go ahead, obviously you need to remember how we logged in to the AWS, right? Can everyone else hear him? Oh, you can't? Guys, are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Okay. Everyone else can hear him. Okay, so all right, where we're talking about, first of all, the login, and for students, the login URL is this. So hopefully you've remembered the login URL and the account ID, and well, then your username and password. I hope you remember that too. So you could just go ahead and I'm going to copy paste that in the WebEx. So everyone is able to log in first of all? Yes, no, maybe? So if it is an IAM user, you have to put account ID there. Account ID is also okay. So Tenzin is able to log in, Muhammad Arif, Rizai is able to log in, David is able to log in, Nargis is logged in, David is logged in, and well, okay, 5 people are logged in. Way to go. Okay, 6 people, Alexander. And so you would remember then all the login steps. Your username is your ID, and well, you could just access one node there, and you can just see that your ID dash your name, the way you put there, and the password that you changed at that time, right? David says no more IAM access. Yes, David, this is how it is provided by AWS Educate. So IAM access is given, then it was being used by the other batch, and then the access was removed. But if you want to enjoy the full year of free trial of AWS, then well, the thing is that you have to use the credit card to create a free tier account there, right? So here as per the AWS educate rules that give access and then remove access, and then give the access for the new service and remove access, and so it goes on for all the batches. Okay, so here guys, I am we try to understand, we try to go for yep. Oh, so Amandeep is here, yay. So the mic is open. I hope there's no songs you want to play today. Okay, let's mute. Okay guys, so we went for IAM in last class, and hopefully everyone is now logged in. Again, the login procedure is in WebEx as well, and I'll just put that here as well. So I'm going to copy this, and week 5. Oh, really? Okay, so this is just the login for those who are still connecting now. Login to AWS, and after that let's go for Ec2 Instance, and obviously for that you need to have Ec2 Instance related privileges. So now once everyone's logged in there, so what is Ec2 Instance? Obviously, so AWS Ec2, so Elastic Compute Cloud as it is known. So AWS's documentation is also pretty good and detailed and understandable by a regular user as well. They put it in such wording that anyone can understand. Okay, so that Ec2, so Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud is a web service that provides secure, resizable compute capacity in the cloud. What is compute capacity? The CPU, the processing, the RAM, the hard disk, right? So the capacity of getting the data. Okay, if you're logging in for first time, what would the password be? Oh, you're logging in for the first time? So you were not in the last class, River, when I distribute the username passwords into. Okay, well, okay, so I'll let you know. Let's first discuss that. Okay, so we were talking about this. Rivers, don't worry, I'll just give you the login information. Let's talk about this first. So Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud is a web service that provides secure, resizable compute capacity in the cloud. So what does that mean is pretty much we're talking about virtual machine, and the name in AWS for a virtual machine is Amazon. So EC2 is that service that offers you virtual machines, right? It is designed to make web scale cloud computing easier for developers. So cloud computing, when we talk about, so you want to compute, which means you want to run virtual machines, and you want to give CPU and RAM, you're going to assign to that to your virtual machines. And Amazon EC2's simple web service interface allows you to obtain and configure capacity with minimal friction. So, well, it's just, you can just easily create virtual machines. We're about to do that now. It provides you with complete control of your computing resources, which is virtual machines again. Actually, it's containers and virtual machines, and lets you run on Amazon's proven computing environment. So computing environment is their underlying hardware capacity, immense hardware capacity, as we can say here. So Amazon EC2 offers the broadest and deepest compute platform with choice of, so you can choose what type of processor you want. Single core, dual core, up to 32 core, 64 core. So that's huge, right? So you can choose what processor you want to put into your virtual machine, what storage you want to put attached. 1 terabyte SSDs, 20 1 terabyte SSDs, 100 10 terabyte SSDs. So you want to choose anything. Obviously, you're prepared to be paying for all that, obviously. So storage you want to connect, networking. So maybe you want to create 2 subnets, 3 subnets, and 20 virtual machines in one subnet. 50 virtual machines in another subnet, and another 100 virtual machines in another third subnet. So you can create networking there. Operating system, which operating system you want, Linux, Windows, which Linux flavor if you want to go for Linux operating system, right? And purchase model. So how do you want to purchase all this hardware, virtual hardware capacity? So you want to purchase it on demand, that whatever you use just charge you that, or you want to make a 6-month or 1 year, 2-year commitment, 3-year commitment, that I'm going to be using this much processor, this much storage, this much RAM, networking, and operating system for 1 year or 3 years. So we offer the fastest processors in the cloud, and we are the only cloud with 400 Gbps Ethernet networking. So they offer huge amount of networking. Obviously, if you have one virtual machine in one region and another virtual machine in another region, suppose it's East Coast one virtual machine and West Coast the other virtual machine, East Coast data center and West Coast data center. So they're just saying that all the data that would be traveling in those leased lines that are 400 Gbps. So we have the most powerful GPU instances. So suppose you're running some really graphics intensive application, or actually you're going for blockchain, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin mining, or any other. Bitcoin is now $60,000, I guess. So one Bitcoin, really, what was I doing 10 years ago? Seriously, should have minded when my friends were saying that. Anyway, GPU instances for machine learning, training, and graphics workloads. So you create a virtual machine, you need GPUs suppose you're running AutoCAD application for engineering purpose and drawing of building architectures. So it needs a lot of graphical processing. So you would want whatever amount of GPU you want, you can just get it from the virtual machine. Just be prepared to pay for it, right? But as far as the capacity and power and speed is concerned, so they say we have all kind of hardware. You just name it, we have it, and we're gonna run your applications. How big they are, maybe millions of users are connecting to your applications. We will support that. AWS says that, right? One example of that would be Netflix. That millions of users are watching on demand, and there is no lag there. So underlying AWS cloud is really giving it power, so everything is smooth, right? As well as the lowest cost per inference instances in the cloud. So these are the lowest cost per inference. So they're just compared to Microsoft Azure. That's the rival cloud platform, right? And then compared to Google Cloud, another rival platform. So as compared to those, the cost for running a virtual machine is lower. That's what they claim. Microsoft claims the same thing, their cost is lower, and Google Cloud also claims the same thing, their cost is lower. So more SAP, HPC, machine learning, and Windows workloads run on AWS than any other cloud. Click here to learn what's new with Amazon EC2. So we're talking about again the virtual machines, how they are being offered by the top cloud platform on planet Earth, right? So nearly 400 instances for virtually every business need. So there are 400 types of virtual instances they have, right? 400 types. From, oh, you want a machine for databases. Okay, how many databases you are creating there in on top of that? So what type of machine for that? So it depends on what kind of application you're about to deploy. Suppose it's a hospital, suppose it's a insurance company, or suppose it's just any other company there that has a huge application with millions of users or thousands and thousands of users. So does Amazon really fulfill your requirements right away or not? So it all depends on that. Do Amazon really offer, do it have all the services that you need, or you have to go to some other cloud and ask those services? So it just says that, okay, so 400 types of virtual machines. Now we're going to see that as well, that when we say types, so what are those types of virtual machines, right? Only cloud provider that supports Mac OS. Oh, really? Only? So that I need to check. So this means Microsoft Azure does not support Mac OS. Maybe not if they're claiming that. AWS. So 24 regions, 77 availability zones globally, choice of Intel, AMD and ARM based processors. So all kind of whatever type of hardware, state-of-the-art hardware that is available in the market, they're saying that their underlying data centers have that all kind of hardware. Suppose your application really requires AMD. Suppose you're doing Bitcoin mining, and well, AMD is known better for it. So you would just need AMD. So yes, it says that it provides all that. Then increase reliable, scalable infrastructure on demand. So increase or decrease capacity within minutes, not hours or days. So suppose you attach 10 1 terabyte disks to a virtual machine, right? Ec2 instance, that is. So all of a sudden boss says, hey, can you just remove 3 of the 1 terabyte SSD disk? So yeah, you can just remove that capacity right away. And this is SLA, service level agreement, commitment of 99.99% availability for each Amazon EC2 region. So they are giving 99.99% availability. So that's quite high, but if we go for avail SLA availability chart, and suppose it's 99.99%. So how many minutes is a month downtime? 99.9% availability. What does 99.99% availability correspond to? So there's a chart here that it's in an year. If you're offering 99.9, so that's 4 nines. So 52 minutes in an year you can go down, but not more than that. So this is a big claim that Microsoft Azure also claims that, and Google Cloud also. And so when they say 99.99%, so in 1 year your machine downtime, your application downtime cannot be more than 52 minutes in 1 year, right? So if it is more than that, suppose your machine was down because of AWS's fault for 1 hour, so they will have to then reimburse some of the money that they are charging you, right? If they cannot meet the SLA of 99.9%, which is 52 minutes or per year, and 4 minutes 38 seconds per month. So they are saying that your machine cannot be down more than that. So well, that's the whole availability chart there. Oh yeah, that's it. And if they are going for 9 nines here, that's 31 millisecond per year. So anyone who dares to really offer that would have the best network available, obviously, if they're really offering these kind of charts there, or these kind of SLA. That's crazy. Like a few seconds of downtime they're guaranteeing throughout the year. So that availability chart, wherever you see SLA and wherever you see 99% or how many nines are there, So if you are offering 8 nines or 7 nines, this means you have state-of-the-art redundancy, you have the best available administrators there, high availability is perfect, then you're able to offer 8 nines or 9 nines. You charge the client a lot, but you better have those kind of facilities and expertise to meet that kind of service level agreement, right? So, well, this chart is always going to be very interesting for you when you join some company and that company is saying that, oh, we have engineers, we have expertise, and we offer the plan of high availability, and we're going to go for 99.95%. So then you better meet that SLA for that company. Technically, you should be very sound then if disaster does strike. Okay, so we were talking about this availability and the AWS. Okay, so each region consists of at least 3 availability zones. So minimum 3 availability zones are there. Suppose you have one virtual machine in one availability zone, and then its copy can be on another availability zone as well, right? So the AWS region AIZ model, region/availability zone model, has been recognized by Gartner as the recommended approach for running enterprise applications that require high availability. Especially high availability, that's a big concern for every company, that our systems we cannot afford to have our system going down. Suppose an application goes down for a company. Some companies start losing thousands of dollars per minute or per hour as long as the application is down, right? So it costs them huge amount of money or productivity, which translates to money in the end. So Alexander says, sir, will we be taking screenshots like class? Yes, we will be taking screenshots like class. So you're right. And yeah, okay, we have placed this, and so be ready for taking screenshots, obviously. And we were talking about reliability. So this is all the data here for reliability for EC2. Oh, why am I doing an alt tab all the time? And then there is secure compute, so they offer security and all the world standards for security, compliance standards, they meet all of them, so they say that too. That's security and compliance, right? So okay, so other than that, it's so these are some of the features that we wanted to talk about, and now we're gonna see it firsthand that how many features they actually offer us, right? So other than that, flexible options to optimize cost with on-demand pay for only the compute you need, gain up to 40% better price performance with AWS Gravitation 2 based instances, or 10% lower cost with AMD based. So Netflix and Cathay Pacific, these are the companies, FINRA, these are the companies which are using AWS right now. And so Netflix, 50% improvement, yeah, okay. And Volkswagen is using that, easy to migrate and build apps, and then there are many partners here. So this page just gives you a lot of information about EC2 and then what's new with EC2. So the more knowledgeable you are, the easier you will be able to pass the exam. Otherwise, the certification we are aiming for in this course is Solutions Architect Associate level, and it's a tough one. The more knowledgeable you are, the better suited you are for doing a certification, which is great in demand in the market as well, right? Okay, so I'm going to log in, and then you can just you may have been logged in. I'll just quickly create one more user account here. So River, you can give your excuse me, let me show you. So River, put your college ID dash your name. right? So this is my name, right? So you can just put college ID and dash your name in the chat, and I'll quickly create an account for you. And right, so River, you're seeing it. Okay, got it. And so guys, I'm just gonna quickly create that user, and let's go ahead. So I gave you all programmatic access, but obviously there are some limitations. Auto-generated password, and you will have to change the password next. And for now, it's an end user. You're connecting as an end user. Review, create user. And okay, save. So River, what you need to do is close button. So you need to log in. So how would you log in? You can use, so this is the URL. So click on this URL, River, that I'm putting in chat now. And second thing is, when you go to that URL, it's gonna ask for account ID. So account ID is in the URL. This is starting from Wednesday W till 2021. So this is account ID. I'm putting in chat as well. You can just copy paste from there. This is your account ID, and your username password is so you will quickly change that now. So it's in the chat now. Hopefully you're able to see, River, your username. Your username is your ID dash River, and the other one is the password. Just put username password, and it will ask you to change your password. So let me know if you're having any issues, right? And just log in. So it's all in the chat now. Hopefully you're able to log in. Okay guys, so while hopefully everyone is logged in, what I'm going to do is that I will go for the users. Now, users of this class, now last year it was much easier to handle all this, and this year AWS has AWS Educate, which is connected to education, right? They have really made it a bit more difficult to a bit more manual work is there. Not difficult, but manual work is there, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click groups here, and I'm going to go for create new group. So you don't have to do that, I'm just doing that. And I'm going to go for EC2 full access group dash Wednesday. Well, no, not Wednesday. Okay, so I'm going to click next. Actually, that group we already created. In fact, everyone created that group. But I'm going to go for Amazon EC2 full access. So because we need to work on EC2 now. And once I create a group here, and you all created the group, so you should not have any issues how to create a group or how did I do that. And okay, student EC2 admin. Let me just check. There is a group. Guys, you already have permissions for EC2. I'm just checking that out. So yes, let me check how many total users we are. 56 results, although I did create those users again as well. Okay, so guys, if you're logged in, no IAM access. Yeah, Mazret, IAM access has been removed, so nobody will have IAM access anymore, and you don't have to create accounts. I wanted to show you and do the labs with you, again guys, this EC2 access that we're having, so we're gonna do the labs together. After that I will have to remove that, and then for the other batch I will be creating that EC2 access again. Okay, so what I will do is that you will do the labs with me, but if you want to do again the lab, you can just use your credit card to create another account. If you want to do that, I can tell you how to do this. And there's a course that I taught in another college as well, where we all attached our credit card. Those were administrators from different companies. They just had attached their credit card to a free tier, and then we were able to do whatever we want as long as you follow some rules. So you want to go for that course where you can do anything you want. Whatever I'm going to teach you now is what I'm teaching them as well, but the limitation is that you just do it while in the class, right? Okay, so David says how you get to that dashboard look. Oh, well, I'm in the IAM, and if I click that dashboard here, see this? So it was the same as there's nothing new, right? When you were connecting, so this was the same dashboard at when you were connected there, and it's the same dashboard that I'm connected to. So there's nothing different. Cool. Alright guys, now what you need to do as soon as you log in, the first thing, normally just make a habit of it, that I'm gonna go to the top right here, and I'm gonna go for my billing dashboard, right? And I'm gonna click that my billing dashboard. If you have, so it says 000, so far so good. And then now let's go to EC2. So where is EC2 instance, or the virtual machine that we need to create? So go to the left side and services, right? Everyone go to the left side and services. Then you should see compute category here, and right under this is EC2. So compute category is just, you know, how to create virtual machines, or how to actually use processing and RAM and hard disk, because there is a light EC2, light sail, lambda, batch, elastic beanstalk, serverless application repository, AWS outposts, EC2 image builder. So there are so many features here, right? Some of the features here you know, depend on some other services as well. So there are 200 plus services, as we already know. So we're gonna go inside the EC2. So let's click everyone. EC2, I have no access. Alexander says, oh, there's a no access for EC2. Let me check that. Guys, are you all seeing this? Well, you actually, I know that you've been added to the full control group, and then there is this is correct. Also check your credit card to see if there's a under authorization. There's no charge. You will need to contact the card issuer to approve the authorization. Seriously, AWS. Okay, make sure you provided all necessary information during sign up. Yeah, I did. Complete your AWS registration. So guys, when the credit card information appears, just look away, right? So look, bird up there. Just kidding. Okay, so congratulations, thank you for creating your blah blah blah. Your console will now be updated to, well, that's it. Go to AWS Management Console. Guys, oh man, did you click that other link that I just clicked? Oh man, so well, I'm saving that, so. EC2. Oh, so guys, did you just see what I did? Can anyone has TeamViewer? I can remotely connect to you, and I can show you on that page which link to click. Oh, Ethan says works now. Okay, it's running now. River says yes. Ahmed says yes. Alexander says, so you just exactly did what I did, right? It's working now. Yeah, so some of you did and took a second or two. Okay, didn't do it. So Alexander says did nothing. Ahmed says we didn't, but others did follow. Now I also clicked that link. I was not expecting it to just work right away. So guys, anyone who has a team viewer, so those once you did it work for us. Oh, okay, good. So you didn't have to do that. I clicked it and it worked for you, right? Is that what you're saying, Ahmed? Cool. So anyone, it's not working? Anyone? Okay, so it's working for everyone. So nobody said it's not working. Let's go ahead. Okay, now this is where, it's full of action now. And the thing is about that permissions, right? AWS Educate normally gives you, because AWS Educate is paying it from its pocket, so they give limited permissions. It's not that limited. Either we connect our own credit cards and then whatever you want you can do. Obviously it's not whatever you want. I mean, still there will be some limitations, but right now AWS is paying for our connectivity, so there could be some limited. Hopefully there will be no limit, but let's go ahead. So first of all, let's understand the dashboard here. This is new EC2 experience is selected here. On the right side, welcome to the new EC2 console. We're redesigning the EC2 console. Okay, you're redesigning, we get that. Guys, everyone sees on the top right North Virginia. Anyone seeing Ohio? If you see Ohio there, then click on top of that and simply click on top of North Virginia. Suppose I'll just click Ohio now. Suppose you see this. So we're not going to create virtual machines in Ohio. Why? Ohio has 3 availability zones. Ohio region has lesser features as compared to North Virginia region, right? So if suppose you were connected here, you go ahead and click like this and just click on top of the region North Virginia. So this has 6 availability zones, and as I mentioned before as well, or may have, that this has all the advanced features that AWS has to offer. Some of the regions are still catching up in terms of the advanced features, and North Virginia is one of those which has all the features. Even our Canada Central region here does not have. We tested that too. Canada Central. So now suppose your company, you're doing a job in a company in Canada, and compliance policy says that our data cannot move outside of our country for legal reasons. So in that case, a Canadian company would have to select the Canada Central. That's a good thing. AWS has created a region here in Canada. Otherwise they would lose all the Canadian business. Microsoft has already created 2 regions here in Canada. Google Cloud has 1 region in Canada, 1 or 2, but AWS has just 1 region. So suppose you want to have a backup in some other region. In Canada you can't do that because AWS has just 1 region. While in US and Asia Pacific and Europe, yes, you have US East 1 region, US East 2 region. So this is the East Coast. US West 1, US West 2, this is the West Coast. So you can have your data backup across the whole country on the other side, on the West Coast, right? But there's only 1 region here, so AWS should be going for another region in Canada as well. Microsoft already has that. Okay, so we make sure that it's North Virginia, right? And so Cherise says, what is Canada Central? Canada Central is a region. And it has 3 availability zones, and it has 2 to 8 data centers per availability zone. So just like North Virginia is a region, Canada Central is also a region. So this is why Canada Central region was created by AWS. Any companies in Canada who have a compliance policy, or legally they are bound to have their data within the country, they cannot export their data out of the country or save their data out of the country. So then Canada Central is region for those companies, and AWS would grab their business as well. Oh, okay, so you're actually meaning province-wise. You know what? They have mentioned that here as well. documentation and AWS. If we go for AWS infrastructure, so they actually, I don't know why they got rid of globe. Maybe I was playing too much with the globe, and they didn't like that. So that was so cool, the globe. We were able to, the way they were showing the whole hierarchy here. So these are all the regions here, and this is Canada Central here when we do that. So normally when we click, there is some extra information, and then they give information in terms of 24. Wow, they did not. Okay. Normally they do give actual place of the region, but yeah, Central Canada, and where it is, yeah, it could be Ontario. You're right. Okay, Microsoft actually mentions all that, and I'm sure they also mention AWS, but it's just we have to dig down deep into the documentation. Let's go ahead and here, yeah. Now we're here, and oh, it's David says Montreal. Okay, thank you. So it's in Montreal. Now we're back here. Well, I'm back here. So there's EC2 dashboard, there's events, there's tags, there's limits. So guys, our first screenshot would be, obviously your screenshot must have your ID on the top right showing here. So this is AWS EC2 dashboard. So take a screenshot of this page where your ID is showing there clearly, and just label it AWS EC2 dashboard. So that's your first screenshot. I'm just going to take a sample screenshot to show you, and I'll put that title in WebEx chat as well. So take a first screenshot of your screen, not my screen, and your ID should be showing there. And what's the title of the screenshot? It's AWS EC2 dashboard. So screenshot 1 for today. Screenshot 1 equals AWS EC2 dashboard, right? And Control V, and I'll put that there in the WebEx chat. Screenshot 1 AWS EC2 dash. Okay, so that's your screenshot number 1 and screenshot title as well. And this is the sample screenshot. Obviously, this screenshot has my name on the top. In your screenshot, when at the end of the class you're going to copy the screenshots in a MS Word document and then upload it to Week5, right? Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and hopefully everyone was able to take a screenshot and title, give a title as well. So here guys, there's events, tags, limits. We're going to talk about that, but there's instances here, right? So instances, in fact, if you see this arrow here, this arrow sign, this one, right? I'm going to click that. So then I'm going to click under that instances. The other category for the EC2 dashboard is images. If I collapse that as well, then Elastic Block Store, collapse that. What is so images? Images is that you create an image of a machine where you put all the applications that the company requires, and then you can just simply install, so then you can create copies of this image. Image normally is that virtual machine that has all the drivers installed, all the latest updates installed, and all. Suppose the company said, hey, for every machine that we create from now on, please install MS Office, please install Adobe Reader and WinZip. So common applications should be there. So you create an image for that, because from out of that image you can create clones, and in every clone, which is an exact copy of your actual image. So each clone, you don't have to actually install all these applications one by one and update. Now Elastic Block Store. What is Elastic Block Store, EBS? This is another name for virtual disk. So if I just put here. So when we talk about EC2, EC2 is the virtual machine, right? So it's the VM. VM is EC2, but it has a virtual disk here as well. Just like you have in your laptop or desktop physical disks, so it's a virtual disk. So VM equals EC2, which is Elastic Compute Cloud, and EBS is, so it's a virtual disk, right? Virtual disk. So whenever you say that, well, suppose the boss says, hey, can you connect 1 terabyte EBS to our EC2? So in English, we're talking about can you connect 1 terabyte virtual disks to our virtual machine? EC2 is a virtual machine, and EBS is a virtual disk, right? So we just need to remember that. And network and security, yes, there are these security groups. We're going to talk about that: elastic IPs, placement groups, load balancing, auto scaling. So we're going to talk about all that as well. But let's go ahead and try to create a virtual machine, and let's see what are the features that are being asked here. So if you click the instances here, then let's click that instances now. Let's click the instances now. Once you click the instances, this area should be empty. Obviously we haven't created any instance or virtual machine yet, so that's why this area is supposed to be empty for everyone. And then let's click launch instances. Let's click the orange button, launch instances. Once we click that, so the wizard starts for creation of what? An Amazon machine image, or AMI. So when we create a virtual machine, it's just called AMI, or Amazon machine image. And AMI is a template that contains the software configuration, which is operating system, application server, applications required to launch your instance. So it's just that kind of software configuration which is required to launch your instance. Instance means virtual machine. You can select an AMI or Amazon machine image provided by AWS, our user community, or the AWS Marketplace. So if you see on the left side, there is my AMIs. Suppose you created an image by installing a Windows, and then you put your own favorite applications there or required applications there. So you can just collect here in my AMIs. Otherwise, AWS Marketplace. So if I click my AMI, go ahead and click the my AMI. And obviously we didn't create anything yet, so we won't find anything here, but it just says that, hey, which kind of AMI have you created, how many EBS, elastic block storage or virtual disk you have created, or instance store you have created. We're gonna go up there, nothing in my AMI yet, right? So then the second one, let's go to that, AWS Marketplace. What is AWS Marketplace? If we click that, so these are those instances or ready-made virtual machines that have an operating system and have a third-party application on top of it. So Barracuda Cloud Gen Firewall is installed on some Linux operating system. This is a virtual machine. You want to purchase the license of the virtual machine, you can do that. Suppose your company wants a Barracuda firewall application installed in your cloud network, so you can purchase that. What happens is that you need to pay the license fee for the Barracuda application. Also, this will run on AWS's cloud, so you need to pay for the underlying CPU usage, underlying RAM usage, underlying hard disk usage, and underlying network usage. So whatever hardware of AWS you're using, you need to pay that, and whatever application license, you need to pay that. And obviously you have an operating system, right? So Barracuda application, firewall application would be installed on a Windows operating system or a Linux operating system. If you went for open source free operating system, then you don't have to pay for that. If you went for Red Hat, which is you have to purchase the license for that. So for operating system, you need to purchase a license. For Windows, you can purchase the license as well. So operating system license fee, application license fee, and the underlying usage of the AWS's data center, whatever hardware you're using for that virtual machine. So that fee per month, right? So when you're purchasing now, you might be thinking that, oh, that's so much expensive. Why should we even go here? Well, if your company has their own data center in a building here, that would be much more expensive than purchasing this virtual machine, purchasing the license of an application, the operating system, and paying the underlying cost of the hardware. This would be much cheaper than maintaining your own company's data center. You will be paying for the property price. Suppose it was on 5th floor your data center is, so you're paying for the real estate, and then the security, and then the hydro bill, the electricity, right? And administrator, whoever is maintaining that, and lots of costs are there. So per month that becomes more expensive than purchasing an application. Suppose after 2 years you decided not to use it, simply shut down the machine, delete it, and that's it, gone. You're not paying for the underlying hardware because you don't have one, you're just using cloud on demand. So well, in AWS Marketplace, the main thing to understand is that yes, there are virtual machines or EC2 instances with an application and operating system on top of that, and then when you run that virtual machine, it will run on AWS's data center hardware, so you need to pay for that too, right? So then that's a long list of applications here. You can see 3,000 infrastructure software is 3,000, DevOps software is 2,300, business application 1,162, machine learning IoT 143, and industries 310. So these are like nearly 5,000 products there, and so you can just purchase the machine. So pretty much every big company, big or small company on planet Earth, have their virtual machines on the marketplace. You purchase them and run it on Amazon's hardware, right? So if we click that Barracuda here, I'm going to click that. Go ahead and click that Barracuda. Don't go further. So that's just how it looks like. That you need to just make sure that, oh, what's the operating system? It's Linux. Okay, it's Unix, and end user license agreement you need, and what kind of machine you need. Now you're seeing some strange names here: t2.small, t2.medium, t2.extra large, t2.2x large, t3.small, t3 medium, t3x large, c4 large. So it goes on and on and on. And m5.4x large. What are those? So, well, we're going to talk about that in the next page, well, when we start creating a virtual machine. For now, you just see that you can just purchase this virtual machine, so the application and the underlying Linux operating system, and then you just keep clicking continue until the payment page comes and you purchase that. So we're not going to do that, but just to explain that this is how it is. And I'm going to click cancel. So let's click cancel here, right? I'm going to click cancel. And now here we actually were talking about AWS Marketplace. So, oh, you cannot open Barracuda. And so it's not authorized to perform AWS Marketplace, view subscriptions on resource. Okay, so I showed you guys, but since there is no screenshot required here, so it's okay. You just need to see it, and obviously we can't go ahead, and then there are some restrictions there. I can see that, or you just let me know. So I'm going to go back anyway, because we are not supposed to purchase anything from here. This is actual purchase, right? So we're not going to actually purchase. We just want to see what it is and why do we come here. What could be the purpose here for us, right? So I explained all that. Then there are, under the AWS Marketplace, go for community AMIs. Community AMI is open source. Suppose you're a developer. You developed an application, then you want to sell it, right? or you just want to make it, you want to become famous because of your application. So you create a financial application, then you install it on a free Linux operating system, then you build up a machine and upload it here. Hey, anyone wants to use it, go ahead, use it. It's free. It's community, right? Community MIs. So there are these which have a virtual machine only with an operating system, or there are from Microsoft as well, and just to for trial versions, right? Some have trial versions, some are just free. You know, when I say free, that does not mean everything is free. So the operating system, yes, if it's Linux and open source, yes, it is free, you don't have to pay for that. But as soon as you run it, you're running on the hardware of AWS. AWS will charge you for that, right? Free is not free exactly. Mesrat says, Mesrat, you're talking privately, so you can change that to everyone so everyone can see your comment. But free is not free. Yes, you're right. It's just that when you run this machine, underlying hardware starts getting used. As soon as you start using underlying CPU of Amazon, underlying RAM and hard disk, that's it. They're gonna start charging you, right? Unless it's a free trial. Okay, so we understand that there's community MIs and you got all these variety of operating systems and architectures and then the type of virtual disk. Well, we're gonna go back to quick start. You might see some more restrictions ahead, but let's check it out. So once you go to the quick start here, right, now you see here Amazon Linux 2 AMI. I just clicked the quick start. Hopefully you've also clicked it. And SSD volume. So this is just Amazon's Linux version. There are maybe 60 or 70 flavors of Linux, right? Everyone started creating their own operating system because it's open source. Anyone can use that code and create their own operating system. So Amazon also created their own Linux, right? You want to use that, you can use that. Then yes, they were saying they are the only cloud who are offering Mac OS, Macintosh images as well. But if you keep going down, there's Red Hat Enterprise, which is very famous among companies because Red Hat, you have to pay for the license, but that also means you get support when you want it, right? It's not like other Linux where you're depending on the community, and since they're working free, so they're not gonna actually support you when you really need it. But Red Hat, when you pay them, they will support you as well. So that's why Red Hat is famous. SUSE Linux, very famous as well. And if you keep going down, guys, Ubuntu server here, and then you see what? Windows Server 2019 base. So hopefully everyone able to see that. Windows Server 2019. So this is like after 8th or 9th, it is Windows Server 2019 base, just the base. Otherwise, then it keeps on going with Ubuntu Linux, right? So when you are seeing Windows Server 2019 base, there's a select button here, right? And 64-bit x86. So I hope everyone is seeing the select button. So let's click the select button now for Windows Server 2019 base. I'm going to click the select button here, and hopefully you're able to see this page. And this page has one machine called, so there's a column of family, and then there is a column of type, vCPUs, virtual CPUs, memory, instance storage, EBS optimize available, network performance, and IPv6 support, right? So all this, what did you select? Alexander say, okay, previous. Alexander, if you go down, first, did you click this quick start? If you're on quick start, then you go down to this Windows Server 2019 base. Hopefully you found it. Okay. Windows 2019 base, and click select here. And hopefully you're there. So I'm gonna click yes, select now, Windows Server 2019 base. And okay, so here there are these columns. So these are all the types of virtual machines to choose from. and the only virtual machine we can use is free tier eligible. So ours is a free tier eligible, so we're gonna only use this machine, right? But it is selected, which is okay. But what are these families here? T2, what is this? Type, what is that? So T2 Nano, right? So that would have one vCPU, 1.5 GB RAM, and EBS, elastic block storage, or virtual disk, obviously, and network performance will be low to moderate. IPv6 support, yes. So this is one vCPU and 0.5 GB memory, which is nothing, right? Hopefully it starts. Okay, so T2.micro, one vCPU and 1 GB memory instead of 0.5. So you go down, T2.small has 1 vCPU, 2 GB memory, T2.medium has 2 vCPU. So the hardware increases, virtual hardware, the processor. Now if we keep going down here, there's a scroll down here, down, down, down. So T2.large, extra large, 2x large, then T3 nano, 2 vCPUs, 0.5 GB RAM, and there is EBS optimize available. EBS optimize just means that your hard disk will be much faster, right? And yes, there will be more bandwidth now available as well, up to 5 gigabit. So whichever machine you start choosing, you should just see that what are the virtual hardware limitations you have. Less processor, less RAM, or more processor, more RAM, and more bandwidth, network bandwidth, right? And if you keep going down, whatever is gray is you can't use them now, they are discontinued. Then C4 large, C4 2x. Now these names just represent, so this is 36 CPUs, pretty fast, right? 60 GB RAM. EBS, or the virtual disk will be there, it will be optimized, and 10 gigabit bandwidth you're gonna get. So this is how you can choose that. You have a lot of hardware keeps on changing here. C5 extra large, then it keeps going down here. C5N, C5D, and the only thing that's changing is the virtual hardware, and the gray ones are discontinued. DX, F1, G4, I3, it keeps going down, way down. That's big, that's huge. So, but you can see 96 processors, 768 GB RAM, huge R5 metal, and 25 gigabit bandwidth. That's a lot as well. And then up to 10 gigabit again. But so sometimes the virtual machine has less CPU, more RAM. Some virtual machine has less RAM, more CPU, and more bandwidth, less bandwidth. So it's just changing that. And you can see how many SSDs are there now for even much larger machines, right? 256 GB RAM. So now RAM is more, processing is less, but the hard disk is a lot, and bandwidth is a lot. So it's just a RAM, processor, hard disk, bandwidth combination, and the names are changing here. So hopefully we get an idea now that yes, if we want to choose any machine, so how would you choose a machine? Like why would you want to choose this machine? Suppose R5D.12x large. So suppose you do see that you're about to create a virtual machine, and there will be a financial application on top of that, and you have how many users? You have 25,000 users there in your company. They are all going to be using this financial application. So then you would go for vendor. Whoever you bought the financial application from, they would have given you that if you have 10,000 users, then you should have this much CPU and RAM in your machine. If you have 20,000 users, this much CPU and RAM. So see the users, vendors documentation, that what kind of hardware for how many users, and then select the machine here, right? So that's how you're going to select. So I'm going to go up there, way up. To the top. And you can see that the machine that we are about to select is already selected, right? So this T2 micro, we're always going to use only this machine. Okay. Now, if this machine is already selected, then let's go click configure instance details, the bottom right big button. Let's click the So everyone, go ahead and click the configure instance details. Once we click the configure instance details, hopefully you're able to see that page without any errors. So this page is having a lot of configurations, right? So this makes AWS really special as well. Okay. Number of instances, first of all. So how many instances in one go you can create, or what is the maximum number of instances you can create here, right? So if I go for 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or 1,000, right? So I'll click somewhere else. As soon as I click somewhere else, then, well, it still does not say that, oh, you have crossed the limit here. You may want to consider launching these instances into an auto-scaling group, blah, blah, blah. Normally what you can do is you can launch maximum of 100,000 virtual machines in one go. So you can put here 100,000. Otherwise, if you go more than 100,000, they're going to give you an error. So maximum limit is okay. So River says I can't even select Windows 2019 base because I'm not authorized. Okay. Oh yeah, I just created you now. Let me check it out. I'm gonna make a duplicate of this, guys. Wait. Okay, so this is the user. Yeah, you're not added to the group. The other groups here as well. Oh, those are policies. Yeah, this one group has all three policies. So I'll attach that. And done. Reverse. You can refresh the screen and try, or you can sign out, sign in if refreshing doesn't work. It has just this. Okay, I did create other groups as well. Okay, you can access now. Okay, cool. So, guys, let's go ahead. But I'll just put. I think all other users are connected to other groups. Suppose I go for yeah, I added everyone. Okay. Anyway, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let's see if everyone is really done. So guys, we were talking about number of instances, and number of instances are, we're going to create one now, right? So that's one thing. But what is auto scaling? Auto scaling is a very, very interesting feature. Suppose there's a scenario here. So we're talking about auto scaling now. What is auto scaling? You have a scenario here that there's a virtual machine. Suppose it's a Best Buy company, and they have a web application that is just showing the products, headsets, and all the devices, gadgets, as well as laptops, desktops, monitor screens. etc. So that virtual machine, they need to have this up, and there's a Boxing Day coming, right? So midnight Boxing Day, they are anticipating that on their website there would be thousands of users coming there, right? So they don't want, so suppose if there's only one virtual machine that has a website that has all the products details that the customers want to purchase, right? Now suppose there are thousands of users connecting now, and there is only one virtual machine here. So what will happen? This virtual machine will freeze. The CPU will go up, RAM will go until CPU is 100%. When CPU is 100%, yes, this machine will freeze. How about you use an auto scaling feature? What is that? You put a threshold, right? So suppose you say that if the CPU goes more than 75%, then please, as soon as it breaches or goes more than 75%, create another clone of this and divide the traffic to that clone, right, among these two. So if the 75% still breaches for any one of those machines or both machines, then just create another clone and divide all the traffic among three. So this will be an exact clone of this machine. It will also offer the same website, but it will divide the whole customer traffic there. And suppose three machines also are not enough, four are not enough, 5, 6, 7. It will keep on creating. The threshold is if the 75% threshold is breached for any one machine, it will create just one more and divide further the traffic among all the virtual machines. It will be just an exact copy of the first machine. Now you can, this is called scale out, right? This is called scale out. Scale out, it just scales out and it keeps on creating if the traffic keeps on increasing. So you can put a limit. Suppose when you create another machine, it is using underlying CPU, it is using underlying CPU, RAM, it is using underlying hard disk, it is using bandwidth. So every machine that you create, obviously you have to pay for their hardware usage, obviously, right? So suppose you say, hey, we can't just have it unlimited, right? So I can afford, okay, we are the Best Buy, suppose. So we can afford up to 100 machines. If it goes till 100 machines, then stop it there, and then we don't care about how many more users have come in, or maybe they can go at 200 machines or 500 or 1000, up to them, right? Depends on the last year's experience, and depends on how many are coming here, so they can predict as well. But they can change anytime. Suppose by midnight, by early morning, there were actually suppose they were expecting 200,000 users, but actually they were 500,000 users here. So they easily reached 100 machines, and still they are breaching 75% threshold. So you can just go in and simply change that. Oh, okay, I can go for 200. Then you see that, oh, there are 500,000 users are still, even 200 machines are full now. So you can go in, and anytime you can change it to 300 as well. But you have to put some kind of limit, right? That hey, I can't afford, as soon as a machine is created, it's using underlying hardware and I'm being charged. So for big companies that may not be a big deal, but for other companies, yes, they would want to. Suppose the customers are huge, but the sales, they did not convert to actual sale, right? They came there and the traffic was huge, but the sale was less. So you end up paying for all the hardware here, while you might not have purchased a lot of machines there as well. Okay, so David says here, does it scale down as well? Exactly, that's the next thing I was gonna say. So this is scale out, so there is a scale in as well. Scale in is, now that's where the money saver comes in, right? Now by morning, suppose the users, total users, number of users started getting less and lesser and lesser and lesser. So you saw that these virtual machines, so you're gonna put a scale out is 75%. You can put a scale in, then it will ask, okay, what is the threshold where I should scale in. What is scale in? First of all, scale in means start deleting my virtual machines. So that is called scale in. And scale in, you can put a CPU. Suppose if the CPU goes less than 40%, right? If it goes less than 40%, this means your machine is not being used, right? So in that case, scale in, start deleting my machine, delete. Oh, it also went down 40%, delete. Oh, it also went down 40%, delete. As or suppose at once there was a burst of thousands of users again came here out of nowhere. You just don't know when their users are coming and connecting, right? So it will start creating again whenever it breaches this threshold. It will start deleting when it breaches this threshold, right? So this is how your money is saved as well, that you don't have customers, just delete the machines. Now you're not going to be charged. So this is all automated. So this is perfect for businesses that, yes, I don't end up really spending all the money that the machines underlying hardware usage is coming to me, right? So they're gonna bill me that. So there is a scale out, there's a scale in, and scale out threshold you can put there, scale in threshold you can put there as well. So that's pretty cool feature, but you don't get to lose your customers just because one machine froze, and yes, if it's not working, all customers will be gone, right? So customers will have best experience there of navigating through the site and purchasing the products. Plus, if there are no customers, virtual machines are deleted and you're not charged for what you're not using. So that's a kind of features that attracted a lot of companies towards cloud, that hey, we're saving money while not losing any productivity as well, and not losing any customers as well. So that's very good. Masud says I got disconnected, didn't get the second screenshot. Did we take a second screenshot? Yeah, we did take a. What was that? Masud, are you connected to OneNote? So, well, this is no, we just took one screenshot, right? Okay, so you were just trying to check if we took a second screenshot while you were away. So no, we just took one screenshot till now. Second screenshot is coming now. Okay, so guys, hopefully we understand what is auto scaling. Then there is spot instances. That's another concept there, and the concept is for spot instances, that is also interesting. So the concept is that if suppose there's a company who wants to run a software, right? But for that they need 100 virtual machines, right? 100 VMs they will run, and that software is big, and they want to run that software for 1 month, right? And that software is an analytical software that will give them some intelligent reports, and those reports they can sell to other companies and make millions out of that. So they have some certain kind of software which is their proprietary, they want to run. Now when they run that software, when they create virtual machines for that software, that virtual machine suppose needs 16 core processor, right? That's a lot, right? Analytical applications do require a lot of cores, right? And they require 32 GB RAM, right? So, and they require SSDs, like 10 terabyte 10 TB SSD, right? So suppose that's a requirement. Now that company wants to run an application for 1 month with this kind of hardware configuration for 1 month straight. The reports they get, they can sell it to others, or they just really need that report. Now suppose the company goes to first Google Cloud. Google Cloud says, oh, you want to run 100 machines, so Google Cloud says, I will charge you $100,000 for that. Then they go to Microsoft Azure. Azure says that I'm going to charge you $80,000 for that. Then they go for AWS. AWS says, okay, I will charge you $40,000 for running this. So they save $60,000 for running their software with this kind of hardware because of spot instances. What are spot instances anyway? So actually this is supported by Microsoft Azure now as well, but Amazon started this. So spot instances are, they have thousands and thousands of physical servers. Amazon, right? They have so many data centers across the planet, and thousands of physical servers are running 24/7, 365, right? So not always all the physical servers are being used. Those servers are just sitting there, just waiting for business to come, right? Some application to be loaded. There are thousands of those physical servers. So then AWS says that, hey, if you want to run on our somewhat free physical servers, then we will give you half of the market rate, or half of the market rate. So those are called spot instances, where if AWS's some of the data centers have not been used and they're just running, so why don't we just rent it out for very, very less price, less than the market, right? So the only catch with that is that if suppose 40,000 was the offer AWS made for using their free machines, but other company came and said, okay, I am bidding for 41,000, give me that, I will use your free hardware, or hardware that is not being used a lot and is available in half of price. So somebody outbids your company. So what AWS will do, AWS will delete all your machines without notice. That's the deal. You want to take it, otherwise leave it. Because AWS is giving you that usage of that machine in half of the market rate, right? So they say that if somebody outbids you, I'm going to delete your machines, I'm going to put those guys there. So you better put that application that whose backup you have, and you're willing to not spend more on it, or much more on it. It's not that critical. Then you better have a backup of that, right? But if you run it, you will just spend 40,000 instead of $100,000. So, but you can also do one more thing. So first thing you understand, spot instances are those instances which are available, which are run on top of a free, that hardware that is not being used, and it's just extra hardware there that still is waiting to be used. So they rent it out for very, very less price. Okay, the Cherry says here, so discounted instances while the location isn't in must use. Yeah. So this is a data center. Suppose there are 2 or 3 data centers that are not being used and they're just sitting there consuming hydro. So why not rent it out in half price, right? So when they rent it out, the only catch is they can delete it if somebody else comes there and outbids you and say that, okay, I'm willing to pay 41, 42, or $45,000. Okay, can you just at once provide me this? So they will simply delete your machines. If you don't want that, suppose somebody outbids you, but you say no, please don't delete my machine. So they say, okay, just pay that price and we'll not delete your machine. That's it. Or somebody outbids you for $48,000. So they tell you, hey, are you into it? Oh, so this you have to make a contract before you start, that if anyone outbids me, I am ready to pay that much price, right? So as soon as you hear 48,000, seriously, okay, I'm in a contract. Okay, don't delete my machine. I'm paying this price now. So it's up to you. But the spot instances are just if you want to have a cheap hardware and nobody's using that, and you get lucky and nobody else outbid you as well. So you use that, you save $60,000, you make $1 million out of that, and you're just rich. So spot instances are those. So that's available in Microsoft Azure as well, that our somewhat free hardware is there that's not being used, so I'm just gonna rent it out in half the price of the market. and that's the catch. You all keep outbidding others, that's good, otherwise we delete your machines. Okay, so this is the whole deal about spot instances. And if we go ahead, there's network. So it says network VPC. What is VPC? VPC is Virtual Private Cloud. What is that? A virtual private cloud is this area in which we are doing anything. So it's like a working area given to us. So when you create a AWS account, you are given a default VPC, default virtual private cloud, or private cloud where you can just create virtual machines, you can create databases, you can create networks, you can create storage, you just do whatever you want to do in a virtual data center, right? So this is created by AWS VPC. So we're gonna work in it, but yes, we can create our own VPC as well. So that lab is upcoming. We will be creating VPC as well. We're gonna understand how to create subnets there, how to create traffic flow, how to create routing table. Okay, anyway, so network here and then subnet. So no preference here. How many subnets? So suppose you can see here one VPC, but since we are in North Virginia, I hope everyone is in North Virginia. Anyone seeing up there Ohio? No one is seeing up there Ohio, right? I hope everyone is North Virginia, right? Okay, so if that's the case, you can see here, if we click this, you got 6 subnets here. Actually, these are not just subnets, these are availability zones, right? Availability zone. So availability zone 1A, availability zone 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F, right? So these are the availability zones. Okay, so now what we need to check is that, okay, we have only one VPC in which we are working, that's okay, so we can't change anything. But here it will change an availability zone. It will select an availability zone for you if you don't select for yourself. Now, for organization, I go for 1A. Otherwise, you can go for 1B, 1F, 1E. It just doesn't matter. So I'm just for organization. Yes, I selected 1A, right? So I'm just going to select 1A. Otherwise, if you don't select anything, it will just select some random availability zone for you, right? So let's select 1A here, just for organization. Otherwise, you can select any other as well, or not select at all. If you go for auto assign public IP, so obviously this virtual machine, when it gets created, it should get a public IP. Why? Obviously, you need to connect to this machine over the internet. You need to connect from your laptop or desktop to this machine with the help of RDP. So this machine gets created in the cloud in AWS, so it has to have a public IP, right? Public IP, and obviously that's routable, right? So when you're connecting from home here and from your laptops and desktops, so you need to RDP into that, right? So obviously you need a public IP to really remote desktop protocol, RDP, remote desktop protocol, right? So you can go to run and type here MSDSC, right? MSDSC, which is Microsoft Terminal Services Console, Microsoft Terminal Services Console, right? So what does that do? Some of you may have used it. So if I go for MSDSC on my laptop and press enter, so it just opens this remote desktop connection. Now if you have your public IP of a virtual machine, you simply click connect and it connects you to that virtual machine, right? Ec2 instance. I'm going to close that. So yes, do you want public IP? Obviously yes, we want public IP, so that's done, right? Okay, other than that, do you want to have placement group? So what is a placement group? Placement group: launch an instance in a placement group to benefit from greater redundancy or higher networking throughput. So either you want greater redundancy or higher networking throughput. So select an existing group or create a new one. Now this placement group, add instance to a placement group. So let's go ahead and select that. Later we're gonna unselect that as well. But right now, to understand what is a placement group, how the redundancy is made available for a virtual machine. So I'm gonna go ahead and select that. So everyone select it, right? Once you select the add instance to a placement group, there's a add to existing placement group or add to a new placement group. Okay, we don't have an existing placement group. This is the first time we're creating anything. So we're gonna go for add to a new placement group. And here add to a new placement group. So we have named the placement group here, and that naming the placement group is well, you're gonna create your name. So your first name, not my name, your first name dash placement group. So go ahead and put your first name placement group, everyone, and just put your name there, right? Okay, so if you have put your first name dash placement group there, so then the placement group types come here: cluster, spread, partition. So cluster placement group, spread placement group, partition placement group, right? So what are those? So if I click this I here, and it says the strategy of the placement group determines how the instances, the virtual machines, are placed on underlying hardware. So you're about to create a virtual machine on top of Amazon's North Virginia region's data centers physical machine, right? So underlying hardware, so a cluster placement group clusters instances into a low latency group in a single availability zone. So a placement group, I'm going to read that, then we're going to go learn more because there will be diagrams there to understand this. So but first thing to understand here is a cluster, which just means group of machines. Cluster means group of machines. A cluster placement group clusters instances. Yay. Oh, serious? What happened here? Oh, okay, this one. Yeah, a group clusters instances into a low latency group. Low latency means what? That machines are nearby each other and they can replicate each other, right? Or active can replicate passive. A partition placement group spreads instances across logical partitions, ensuring that instances in one partition do not share underlying hardware with instances in other partitions. So suppose you are deploying 10 virtual machines. So 5 virtual machines will be on a set of hardware, and that is separate from other 5 virtual machines that will be in another set of hardware. When we say set of hardware, it is racks and rack servers, right? So if we go for suppose AWS data center racks, servers, and images. So these are all the racks, right? These are racks, and inside the racks are all the servers there, right? So all the racks and rack servers. So inside now some 5 virtual machines, we can say, if I just go back to that same diagram here, these are all rack 1, rack 2, rack 3, suppose, and rack server 1, rack server 2, rack server 3, rack server 4, 5, 6, 7. These are all the servers, right? So 5 virtual machines will be in this set of rack, other 5 virtual machines will be on this set of rack. Why? If this I'm talking about partition placement group. So you create virtual machines here, 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 suppose 6 virtual machines, and the rest of the from the 6, 3 here, 3 there, right? So the only benefit is that if whole set of rack went down, so all 6 machines are not lost, for whatever amount of time they are down. Only 3 machines are down. The other machines were on the other set of racks which were not down. So when we go for partition placement, it's just that you're selecting the underlying hardware different for a group of virtual machine and different for another group of virtual machine. So if underlying hardware goes down, not all machines are down. Some are only affected, not all are affected, right? So that's what it is talking about. Yeah. If we go further, so a spread placement group spreads instances across underlying hardware. So that's pretty simple then. It just simply spreads the instances on underlying hardware, which is if you see now, these are all the racks and long rows and rows of racks here, right? So your virtual machines, suppose you are deploying 6 virtual machines there, or 10 or 20 or 200 virtual machines. So there will be simply one virtual machine on this rack which has maybe 10 rack servers, one virtual machine here on this rack, one virtual machine on top of this rack, one virtual machine, not exactly top, on any one of the physical servers inside the rack, one virtual machine here, one virtual machine here, one virtual machine. So obviously you would see that if this whole rack goes down, it does not affect the other virtual machines, or if this whole set of rack goes down, still many other virtual machines were spread across the underlying hardware, so they were on different racks. Suppose there was just one physical server went down, this one physical server went down, so the other virtual machine would have been another physical server, so it would not have affected. So it's just like spreading your virtual machine across across different underlying hardware, either group of underlying hardware or just simply separate hardware for each virtual machine. So they're just giving you strategies that, hey, these are 24 by 24/7 365 they are running, so that yes, they can go down as well. In that case, if there's a simple outage that occurred, we're gonna make sure that the machines are back up, but all your machines should not be down. They should be spread across our underlying hardware. So that's what they are pretty much saying here. Okay, right? So cluster placement group, what I wanted to do was, there's a learn more here as well, and if I click that, so this is a good read for placement groups that you can do, where it explains pretty much all those placement groups that I've explained already with diagrams here. So I'm gonna put that in OneNote. And put here, what are placement groups, right? Okay. So these are placement groups, and in fact, guys, just wanted to discuss about all this. So what you can do now is simply uncheck this. We're not using placement group. We wanted to understand what are placement groups and what are the types inside, right? So go ahead and uncheck that placement group. I hope you've all unchecked it. And then there's capacity reservation, domain join directory, IAM role, CPU options, shutdown behavior. So there is capacity reservation here, and that's we may have discussed that before as well. You want to reserve the capacity of a virtual machine. So when you talk about capacity reservations reserve capacity for your EC2 instances or virtual machines in a specific availability zone. You can launch instances into a capacity reservation if they have matching attributes, instance type, platform, and availability zone, and available capacity. So what this mean in English is that if you are, suppose you want times 10. So 10 virtual machines you want to run, and you want them to run 24/7 365 throughout the year. Every day you want to run day and night, right? 24/7 365, right? And then you want, for all virtual machines, you want 16 core processor, and like 128 GB RAM, right? And 10 TB hard disks, 10 terabyte SSDs, and whatever else capacity. So you want to reserve 16 core processor, 128 GB RAM, 10 terabyte disks for each of the 10 virtual machines for next 3 years, and they're gonna run 24/7 365, right? So capacity reservation just means that you request AWS, hey AWS, I want in North Virginia my 10 machines to be working 24/7 365 for 3 years with this kind of hardware. So can you reserve it for me? This means that AWS must make available this kind of compute to these virtual machines for this amount of time. If they cannot at any point in the 3 years, if they cannot make available 16 core processing, 128 GB RAM per machine. So suppose the RAM went down to available RAM went down to 64 GB for 5 hours in 3 years, just 5 hours, right? So this means that they were not able to do offer capacity reservation to you, so they will have to reimburse you. Remember that SLA, that 54 minutes per year for 99.99%. So this is that SLA that you reserve a capacity and you expect AWS to make it available for you 24/7 365 for 3 years according to the contract. So capacity reservation just means that AWS, you better make it available or you pay for what you don't when you were not able to make it available, right? You pay for it, you reimburse our money, right? So that's called capacity reservation. You reserve that capacity, and AWS better make it happen, and AWS just make it available. They are bound to make it available legally. So that's capacity reservation, right? And if we go for target by group, target by ID, none, open. So the main concept is there about the capacity reservation. Then you can just reserve the capacity. So suppose I go inside here and you don't want to reserve capacity, then it is like this. And if you go down to target by group, then it says capacity reservation group. So that's a group of machines, right? Target by ID. So whatever the ID of the machine, when you create a machine, an ID is given to a machine. So machine number with this ID, with this ID, with that ID, please make. We're doing a capacity reservation for that. So in that case, you can go for that. Otherwise, I'll just keep it open. So open capacity reservation just means that whatever we are putting here, just make it available. That, nothing specific. Domain join directory, and that is did you install an Active Directory here in AWS? Yes, you can create an Active Directory or other directory services, open source directory services as well, but when you create an Active Directory here, it's gonna charge you $150 per month, right? Minimum. So so there are charges there for creating a directory service. But what's the purpose of Active Directory? If you create, you can join your machine to a domain, right? And you can simply then it's more secure, right? Well, we don't have Active Directory, so we're not going to use that. IAM role, again, if you drop down, you will see all these IAM roles there. If you were using a directory service and you had selected here, then you have to use then an IAM role called EC2 full access, because Active Directory would want to have full access to the virtual machine, right? So we're not using any IAM role here. CPU options, specify CPU options there. It just says that core count and threads per core can be modified after launch. So the thing is that if you click specify how many cores you want in your machine right now, right, and how many threads you want in your machine, so it doesn't give you a lot of core options because you went for the most slowest machine and it's the free tier available, right? It was the free machine. Other machines are heavy and you will have the option of how many cores you want in a virtual machine, right? So number of vCPUs, because this machine does not really support any kind of large amount of cores, that's why we don't see that. So I'm going to uncheck this option of cores here. Shutdown behavior, when you click stop, should it shut down or should it terminate? Obviously shut down, so that's just pretty simple. Terminate means delete normally, and shut down, when you click stop, it will shut down. Hibernate, you want to hibernate the machine. So if you stop the machine, it will, suppose you were working and you stop the machine, or you just want to hibernate the machine, which means that whatever you were working on, there were so many windows open, so many applications open, so it will freeze all that state, and when you restart the machine or unhibernate, then suppose you had 5 windows open, you will go back to where you were working, what you were working on. And termination protection, so that is obviously protect against accidental termination, which means accidental deletion. Nobody should be able to delete your machine accidentally. So if you select that, then it's not going to let you delete the machine unless you really go to the options area and then go down and search where is the termination protection and uncheck it, and then come back here and then delete the machine. So accidentally you cannot delete the machine, it won't let you. And enable CloudWatch. CloudWatch is just a monitoring, right? So this is a one-stop monitoring and it will charge you as well, so it's just one-stop monitoring. And but if it's a critical machine in a production environment in companies, then you can just enable CloudWatch. It will keep an eye on and give you details of what's going on in the machine. Tenancy, shared, run a shared hardware instance, or dedicated, run a dedicated instance, dedicated host, launch this instance on a dedicated host. So dedicated instance and then dedicated host, so those are expensive. You can choose to run your instances on a physical servers fully dedicated for your use. The use of host tenancy will request to launch instances onto dedicated hosts, while the use of dedicated tenancy will launch instance as a dedicated instance. You can launch an instance with a tenancy of host or dedicated into a. So the thing is, you want to have your virtual machine not sharing their hardware, underlying hardware with other companies. So suppose there is a underlying hardware, or I will go to that screenshot. So this is the underlying hardware, right? So you want that this server here should only have your machine. Normally if you don't go for dedicated, so there is your virtual machine created here, then another company's virtual machines are also sharing the same hardware, right? So you don't want that. You just want your virtual machine to be on this hardware, then you will pay more. But suppose there's an application there that has to detect that hardware for their licenses, so in that case you will go for dedicated host, right? So but it's gonna give you better performance, but obviously they're gonna charge you more for that too. So I'll keep it shared. Elastic graphics, so you suppose you're working on blockchain and you want to do cryptocurrency mining or you're going for simply a big application like Photoshop or AutoCAD, and you need some GPUs there, so you can add, they're going to charge you for that, but they're going to give you graphics acceleration for any kind of graphic application. Credit specification, so this is selecting unlimited for the credit specification allows applications to burst beyond the baseline for as long as needed at any time. If the average CPU utilization of the instance is at or below the baseline, the hourly instance price automatically covers all usage. Otherwise, all usage above baseline is billed. Set your account level credit specification. So credit specification just means that you just set your account for a specific amount of money that I will keep on paying per hour, and then you can even suppose this machine is supposed to use 1 core, but there were so many users connected here that you had to use 5 cores processor. It was supposed to use 1 GB RAM, but so many users connected and it was using 5 GB RAM. So you can select this option and they will simply charge you per hour what they were charging for the actual machine, and whatever extra usage you are doing, they will simply not charge you extra for that if you select this option. Overall per hour charges will be a bit higher, but then you can go unlimited in terms of CPU usage and memory usage, right? And you can add network interfaces card here as well, and Ethernet 0, just one network card is there, but you can add extra network cards there as well if you want. And then there is advanced details. You want metadata related stuff here. You want to put extra information about this virtual machine, or some code you want to put there, then this is the area. Now guys, we have talked about all this configure instance options there, right? So let's take a screenshot number 2 here, where your ID is showing on the right side, and then you are taking, now it's configure instance is the name of the page, so this will be the name of the screenshot number 2 as well. Screenshot number 2, configure instance page. In fact, use add the word page as well. Configure instance page. So screenshot number 2 is configure instance page. So I'm going to take a sample screenshot now. Your ID should be showing up there. So configure instance page is the name of the screenshot. I'll put that screenshot to configure instance page. So that's screenshot 2, configure instance page, and it will be your page. Okay, well, there's add storage, add tags, configure security group, review. So we need to discuss add storage, add tags, configure security group as well, and then we're gonna have a re and view. So well, that's a lot of stuff. Otherwise, creating a virtual machine is not a very big deal. It's next finish, but obviously we came here to understand all those options there. Well, this since you really insist, so there's a break time now coming, so we're gonna continue after the break. Hopefully the session continues or allows us to create a virtual machine, or otherwise we're just gonna recreate. So we can just take a break here till 8:20. I'll put that break class starts 8:20. Muting and pausing. Alright guys, so let's go ahead. And we were talking about all the features of the EC2 instance. and I'm going to go ahead and so we took a screenshot of the configure instance page, and we gave that screenshot to that name, configure instance page. So then there's storage. Let's go to the storage as well. So I'm going to click add storage here, right? So let's everyone click add storage. Once we go to the add storage, so that's the next page here. And this next page, we have add storage. So your instance will be launched with the following storage device settings. You can attach additional EBS volumes, which is elastic block store or simply virtual disks, and instance store volumes, which is also actually called virtual disks, but we're going to talk about when we go to the storage topic, to your instance, or edit the settings of the root volume. So you can also attach additional EBS volumes or virtual disks after launching an instance, but not instance store volumes. I'm going to click that learn more here. So Amazon Elastic Block Store and then Instance Store. So this is just some diagrams here as well. And Amazon EBS provides durable block level storage volumes that you can attach to a running instance. Running virtual machine, you can attach this storage volume. You can use Amazon EBS as a primary storage device, right, for data that requires frequent and granular updates. For example, EBS is the recommended storage option when you run a database on an instance. So, well, it's a virtual disk. EBS volume behaves like a raw, unformatted external block device that you can attach to a single instance. The volume persists independently from the running life of an instance. So your virtual disk really independently persists there or lasts there. Even if you delete the virtual machine, you can still keep its virtual disk separately available as well. So after an EBS volume is attached to an instance, you can use it like any other physical hard drive. To keep a backup copy of your data, you can create a snapshot of an EBS volume. We're going to see that too. So there's then first is what is EBS volume. So that's going to be a good read for you as well to know what is EBS volume. And then so instance store, many instances can access storage from disks that are physically attached to the host. So the disk storage is referred to as an instance store. Instance store provides temporary block level storage for instances. The data on an instance store volume persists only during the life of the associated instance. If you stop, hibernate, or terminate an instance, any data on instance store volume is lost. So the thing is that if you want to connect a temporary disk to temporarily just store the data for the duration of a virtual machine powered on, so you can just attach instance store. As soon as you power off the virtual machine, the data for, so we can say temporary storage, or the data from the virtual machine, or the data from the instance store, which is also kind of a virtual disk, will be gone. So the thing is that it's just, as long as virtual machine is powered on, you can use that extra storage to store data. And maybe the data is meant to be temporarily stored and used at that time as long as the machine is powered on. And after that, it is just removed, or data is deleted as soon as virtual machine is powered off. So, okay, now this is root, so volume type root, or the first disk, and then there is /dev/sda. This is just the name of the device and the path of the device. Normally in Linux machines, you mount the device this way. There's a snapshot point-in-time backup has been taken for the first disk that is created, and for Windows 30 GB is for free tier. 30 GB is only allowed, not more than 30 GB, right? So free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 GB of EBS, general purpose SSD or magnetic storage. So if you go to the volume type, so there are these types of volume here: general purpose SSD GP2, then general purpose SSD GP3, provision IOPS SSD IO1, provision IOPS SSD IO2, and magnetic. So general purpose SSD drive can have just like nowadays when you purchase a laptop, so you can just purchase an SSD disk. It's general purpose. You want to run games on it, you want to run applications that require some speed, reads and writes on it, so you can do that. If I click GP3, so well, first of all GP2, and you can see that it's input output data per second, IOPS, right? It requires IOPS here. So when you actually so suppose there's a disk here, and that disk is you put when you write on that disk, suppose you make some changes and you're saving something, so you're writing on the disk. Suppose you're searching something and you're retrieving a data from the disk, so you read from the disk, right? So this is reads and writes, input output, right? This is read, this is write. So when you're reading and writing, so this is how it happens: read and write, right? So when there's a database, so lots of reading, lots of writing is going on the database. There's a lot of data there that users try to search a lot of data, and then they can retrieve a lot of data from the database. So reading and writing goes on when it's a heavy application or like a database application, right? So this is called IOPS, input output data per second, and throughput is just the speed with which the data is being provided. And then read and write and throughput should be faster. If IOPS is slow and throughput is faster, so throughput is just data being traveling to be provided for reading and writing. So data is provided fast, and so read and write should be fast as well, right? So if we go GP2 to GP3, so GP2 is 100 to 3000 IOPS. So AWS will count your input output data, how many times you read their underlying hardware disk and how many times you retrieve data from their hardware disk. So they're going to count that. Or if you want GP3, so it's 3000 IOPS and 125 Mbps throughput. And if you go further, there's provisioned IOPS. That is 1500 input output data per second, and throughput is not applicable. If you go for IO2, so it's 15,000 IOPS. This is provisioned IOPS. SSD IO2 is used for databases where a huge amount of reading and writing on the disk is going on. And then the slowest one, which is magnetic disk. So IOPS do not apply on that. So it is the cheapest. And if you want to just back up your data there and you want to keep some files which are not that important, so you can just use a magnetic disk as well, backup and archive purpose. Otherwise, we stick to general purpose SSD GP2. So here, and then delete on termination. So that's a good feature that you cannot accident. No, this is if this virtual disk, this storage is being attached with a virtual machine, right? So when you delete that virtual machine or when you delete that Ec2 instance, do you want the virtual disk or EBS volume to be deleted as well? So yes, when we want to delete this virtual machine, please delete this disk as well. So this option means that suppose you uncheck that, so it will delete the virtual machine, but it will keep your virtual disk there still, right? So and then do you want to encrypt this whole disk, and so this is just for security purpose, and we can do encryption there for this disk as well. You can even add more volumes there. Suppose you want to add a second disk or third disk, but free tier allows us to go for 30 GB. So let's take a screenshot of this screen, where screenshot number 3 would be the AWS EC2 storage. Screenshot number 3 would be AWS EC2 storage. Let's take a screenshot here, everyone. AWS EC2 storage. I'm going to take that sample screenshot now, and the title is AWS EC2 storage. So I'll just go ahead, screenshot number 3. So screenshot number 3 is AWS EC2 storage, and make sure your ID on the top right is showing there in the screenshot. Every screenshot, your ID must be showing, right? So okay, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to click add tags here, right? Let's click if you've taken the screenshot number 3, let's click the add tags. Once we click the add tags here, you see this page, and well, we may have talked about tags already, that you can put a key, suppose department, value sales, key being manager, value Bob, key being branch, and value Toronto. So it's key and value, you just keep on putting some information there if you want. So we don't have to really put the tags here, and but we do understand what they are because we created before as well. So I'm going to click configure security group. Let's click configure security group. Once we click the configure security group, so we are on this page now, and this is a pretty important feature. So what it does is that it is your firewall for the virtual machine, right? So security group works like a firewall. A security group is a set of firewall rules that control the traffic for your instance. On this page, you can add rules to allow specific traffic to reach your instance. For example, if you want to set up a web server and allow internet traffic to reach your instance, add rules that allow unrestricted access to HTTP, HTTPS ports. You can create a new security group or select an existing security group. So security group, so suppose you have a virtual machine here, and that virtual machine has a web application. Also, you would want to remotely connect to that virtual machine as well. So first of all, you can allow block traffic, right? So normally all traffic is right now blocked unless you add that type of traffic or the port information there, right? So otherwise all traffic by default is blocked. That's how firewall really work. So suppose this virtual machine has a web server, or you plan to put a web server there, right? So in that case, you will go for port 80, right? So it would be HTTP. Suppose you can open here, you can click add rule, and then you can add here HTTP, and that is, or HTTPS. Suppose you're going for HTTPS. So, and it could be transmission control protocol, TCP, and it is 443. Its port is 443. And from where? So first of all, what type of traffic needs to be allowed or needs to be allowed? Otherwise, every other traffic is blocked anyway. So you say that, okay, HTTPS, secure internet traffic is allowed. Now, second thing is from where you want to allow it. So 000/0 just means from anywhere traffic is allowed, or you want to go for, if you go down here, you can see this my IP, right? what is this? So go ahead and click my IP. So when you click my IP, it's going to show you the public IP of your home DSL router. And this public IP keeps on changing regularly. In 2 to 3 days it will be something else, then after 2 to 3 days it will be something else, right? So when you click my IP, it's just your public IP. Or suppose you put this. Now what does that mean? If you put my IP for this application, now for this virtual machine, so you can only connect through RDP protocol from behind only this IP, right? So this also means that if you go out of your home with your laptop and you reach office or reach some other area and you want to connect to that virtual machine, so you won't be able to connect because you just added your IP there. If you're behind this IP, only then you can connect to this virtual machine, otherwise you can't. And in 3 or 4 days, if it also changes, then you have to come back here as an admin or tell your administrator that, hey, my new IP my ISP Pro gave me is this, and can you please add it and let me connect, right? So this is how you can control from where who is connecting. Now if you go for custom, so custom is you can put any public IP there or private IP if it's between the virtual private clouds or anywhere. Let's go for anywhere actually, and that is 0.0.0/0, right? Either you can, if you want, you can choose your my IP or go for anywhere here, right? So security group does two things: allows or blocks traffic, and also you can define from where the traffic is allowed to come. For now it's anywhere. Or suppose it's suppose you're sitting in your Toronto branch in downtown, right? And when you're inside the Toronto branch and you click my IP, so it will just give you the branch IP. And normally the businesses ISPs give businesses static IP. That IP does not change. That public IP does not change, right? So yes, for the branch you can just give, but for home, when you go and put the IP, so ISPs normally don't provide residences with the static IP. They always give dynamic IP. So what we can do is we can just click anywhere, and also this is one type of traffic that we have added. How about there's a click add rule here, right? Once you click the add rule, and then another line adds up here, but then you can drop up. So then you can just check that what are the type of traffic you want to. So custom TCP rule, over TCP you want to allow FTP traffic or allow DNS traffic 53, although they are separately mentioned here as well. So all type of traffic, common traffic that is normally going between the network, or if it's not these ports, then you can go for all TCP or custom TCP. And suppose it's email traffic, right? So port 25, right? You can just give that to, or it's a database traffic, database. So it's actually there is database here as well, but it will be 1433 MS SQL, right? 1433 port. So if it's any other port other than the famous ports here, then you can go for custom rule. Otherwise, just go for or custom protocol here. Otherwise, go for that port which is mentioned here. So what type of traffic? So now second line I've added here, but I don't need it, so I'm just gonna click cross here. So let's cross only the second line, not the first line, just the second line. Let's remove it. I'm about to click cross here to remove this second line only. So now we have this defined here, so we can connect from anywhere, which is not very secure option, but this is the temporary machine. We're about to delete it. That we're going to create it and then we're going to delete that as well, right? So we have selected that, and we're going to connect RDP. We're going to do RDP into this if there are no limitations there. So okay guys, the security group works like a firewall. You can add traffic, and by default all of the traffic is blocked other than what you add here. And then you can also define source. So that's the purpose of a security group. You can define source, from where we can connect, and what kind of traffic can pass through this virtual machine, and this is inbound rules, right? So let's take a screenshot number 4 here. Security group, AWS security group. Let's take a screenshot number 4, AWS security group. Screenshot number 4, AWS security group. Let's take that. Screenshot number 4, AWS security group. I'm going to take a sample screenshot here. Make sure your ID is showing in the screenshot. In every screenshot, your ID must be showing there. Okay, so that's our screenshot for and that is security group. That's it. Or configuration, if you've written that, that's also okay. Security group. Oh, sorry, AWS security group. I think that was it. If you just wrote security group, that's okay. AWS security group or configured security group, all is okay. So that's and let me just put the screenshot for AWS security group, and I'll put it here on WebEx. Okay, so if it's screenshot 4, let's get going. And there's a review and launch, right? So let's click that blue button, review and launch. I'm going to click that blue button, review and launch, and it's just review, right? So whatever we selected just now, we can review that. But it's also saying that improve your instance's security. Your security group launch wizard is open to the world. Yes, it's 000/0. So anyone can connect to this machine if they know the public IP of this machine, but also if they know the local administrator password of this machine, right? So 2 things they need to know still, even after this. So other than that, we're okay. It's just now brace for any errors if they come. Hopefully they don't, but with this new way of AWS Educate now, so it could come as well. But I'm just going to click launch, and in the launch, be careful here that you have to click a key pair here. What is a key pair? So a key pair consists of a public key that AWS stores and a private key file that you store. So the public key has the same code that a private key has. So you can just say that half of that code is here and half of the code is there. When these 2 keys they meet together, then the full code is created. And the main purpose of this is that we will now be downloading our private key, right? So when we are downloading our private key, we will be downloading that, right? So when we want to connect to the virtual machine, and for that we need the local administrator password. So that password will only be granted to us when we provide this private key that we are about to download now. Otherwise you won't be able to log into that machine if you don't have the private key, which is a separate file that we are about to download now, right? So I'm going to go down here, choose an existing key pair. No, I'm going to click there and create a new key pair. So I'm going to click create a new key pair, and then we need to give a key pair name, and you must download key pair in downloads folder of your laptop or desktop. Downloads folder, it would be easier for you. Otherwise, well, you can download it anywhere, but better download it in the downloads folder of your laptop or desktop. What is the key pair name we need to give? So kp dash 10Feb2021 dash your first name, right? So kp, which is key pair dash 10Feb2021 dash your first name. And once you have put in that name here, then we can click download key pair then we can click download keeper and make sure that you download it in the downloads folder. Why I'm saying it again and again, downloads folder? Well, few students, very few, if we download it and just click save, then they forget where they downloaded it, and then they ask for help, and like I'm like then scratching my head. What? You just downloaded it in your laptop, you can't search it? So the thing is, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna click that download keep here now, and when the window pops up like this, I'm going to select the downloads folder on my left side, or well, let's stick to one folder, but you can download it anywhere in your laptop as long as you remember where did you download it and you can search it, right? It's no big deal, but very few students actually have issues with that. So on the left side, I'm going to click downloads here. That's it. And I'm going to click save, right? So I've seen that so many times, that's why I'm just saying that. Otherwise, it's a very basic thing. So I'm going to click downloads here and save. That's all. Now you can see in the Chrome that it's just showing there, right? Well, that you can leave in the downloads folder or wherever you downloaded it. Then we can go for launch instances. Okay, it's not lunch, it's dinner time. So launch instances, right? So let's click launch instances, and there you go. Seriously? Okay. Okay, you know what happened? Guys, do you have the back to review screen? I think everyone is going to, who did not get an error? Because you know what, we all, you did not, so you launched first, right, David? Whoever launched first, oh, you also didn't, Wayne, you did not? Okay, anyone got an error, or I'm the lucky one? Anyone got an, I got one, I got error, I did not launch yet, I got, no, oh, the first lucky one was able to launch. All others, obviously we are all using the same name, we're supposed to change it. So what, those who got the error, please follow me now. Those who got the error, please follow me now. Oh yeah, Cherries, you're genius. Very good. So I'm gonna go for back to review screen. Those who got the error, please follow me now. Click back to review screen for only those who got the error, and then go previous, right? Go previous, those who got the error. Everyone on the screen, see this? Dash your first name. Just put in the security group after launch wizard 1 dash your first name. Okay, so after this, yes, now we're okay. Hopefully, hey, if you have two Johns there and two Davids there, then please check that, David D and the other David. So when you're writing these names, right? So I'm gonna put my name here, and now I'm gonna go back again. Hopefully those who got there did this change, and click review and launch, right? I'm gonna click launch here. Okay, so if you see this keep here now, just acknowledge. It's just saying, hey, do you know where did you download that keep here? Yes, we do know that, right? So simply select this I acknowledge, because it's in my downloads folder, so I don't have to recreate it, and launch instance, right? Go ahead. Yay. Okay, so here you should all be on this page now, right? Are we? Okay, you should all be on this page. Oh, there's a long list of yeah. Okay, we're good. So now, see this ID? Let's click this. Click this ID. Go ahead and click this ID. Where does it take you? It takes you to the, well, we're gonna see a lot of machines now. Oh, okay, yeah, it's in your guys, everyone's in North Virginia, right? First thing, it's in your profile. So now this machine is started. Actually, it's initializing here, but it's saying running here, right? And you need to give a name to this machine. So see this, there's when I take my mouse, hover your mouse over here, and there's that arrow sign here, right? Hover your mouse over there and there's an arrow sign. I'm gonna click this arrow sign now. Go ahead and click this arrow sign. Why? We're going to name this machine. It says edit name. So click on the arrow sign and your first name VM. Just put your first name VM and click save, right? Hopefully everyone was able to do that. Your first name dash VM and click save. Okay, so the machine is created. What happens if I was in Ohio? Ouch. Hey, well, when it's not, it's okay. Like, just make sure you delete it at the end of the class. Guys, we must delete the machine at the end of the class. Do not leave your machine running at the end of the class. Do not even shut down the machine thinking that it's not gonna charge. Even if you shut down the machine, it's gonna charge. So at the end of the class, we must delete the machine. And also, yeah, I told you that there's a lot of auditing going on here. So whatever you do, whatever you don't do, is in the monitoring software, and that would relate to loss of marks as well. So we must delete the machines at the end of the class. But when it's okay. If you're in Ohio, for the virtual machine, normally it should be okay. But please make sure that you're in North Virginia in future, right? Okay, guys, this is our screenshot number 5. Created an Ec2 instance. Screenshot number 5, created an Ec2 instance. Screenshot number 5, created an Ec2 instance, right? So I'm going to take that screenshot now. Your ID must be showing there in North Virginia or Ohio, but make sure next time only North Virginia. So I'll take a screenshot here, creating an Ec2 instance. Did I say creating an Ec2 instance? Okay, so creating an Ec2 instance or Ec2 instance or AWS Ec2 instance, whichever. So I took a screenshot. I'm going to go there, screenshot number 5 here. Screenshot 5, creating an Ec2 instance. Creating an Ec2 instance. Okay, so once we have created the Ec2 instance here, right, we need to connect it, and the next screenshot is about once you have logged inside the machine, right? Then that's the next screenshot, right? So what we need to do is that we need to connect. How do we connect and go inside this virtual machine? So you need to select that virtual machine, and there's a connect button on the top. I hope everyone is seeing this connect button on the top, and select here. So I'm going to click the connect button here now, and there's a session manager. If it is properly configured, then you can connect from within the browser to this as well, but then there's a RDP client as well. We're going to go to RDP client. So let's select RDP client. That's the first thing. Hopefully everyone selected that. Then you can see that the DNS name, public DNS name of the machine is this, with which we can connect from our laptops or desktops. The administrator is the local username. We all know that Windows have so message says failed. Okay, let's go back. And Okay, so running. Guys, who got failed? And 15 running. So, and what's the error? Fail to describe instance information. Okay. Fail to describe instance information, blah blah blah, is not authorized to perform. SSM, describe instance information on resource. Ethan, Nargis, Ahmed, Cherise, Tenzin, Meseret, Tenzin, Meseret, Amazon. Okay. So guys, you can take your screenshot of that error. Take a screenshot of that error, and you will have to upload that. So I will understand that the next screenshots, that's the reason you were not able to create next screenshots. But you also got this same steps that we did, but you were not able to. Hey Tenzin, your machine is here. Tenzin VM. Did you create again? See, it's running. Okay. So, okay. How come you saw the error, then you're saying that, right? So, I see that it's just running fine. So, who else? Cherries, your machine is also running. Why are you saying error? Cherries. Oh, when you click the connect, then maybe you're seeing the error, right? Actually, your machine is okay. Then Nargis, your machine is okay. As long as the machine is concerned, it's okay. I think when you're clicking the connect button, then you're getting an error, right? Fail to describe instance. Oh, just a message. Fail to describe. Okay. So guys, ignore this. Okay, do what I'm doing now. Select your machine. If it shows on the top or below somewhere while you are able to do what I am doing, then ignore that error, right? If you're able to do what I'm doing, then ignore that error. Okay, so select your machine. I selected mine and click connect, right? Yeah, so just ignore that error. And if you click the connect button, I hope everyone is able to. Okay, select where. Let me go back. Okay guys, pay attention. Okay, let me go back. Select your machine, Meseret. Select your. Do you have a, yeah, you have a machine here, Meseret VM, right? So just select it like this. Just click on it, right? And once you select it, I've selected mine, you select yours, and then click here. So click here. You know, when I say here, then you have to see my screen. Where is he saying, right? Otherwise I say connect and maybe you're just looking for where's the connect. So just click here and then click here. That's a good one, right? Okay, so once I click here, then I click here. Now you have to see it, man. So got the same. Okay guys, anyone can share your screenshot on WhatsApp. Those who are on WhatsApp, can you share a screenshot? This is what the WhatsApp is for, that you can share a screenshot with me, right, of what you're seeing. So you're not able to connect, this means that's what I'm getting. Otherwise, since I'm not getting this error, so I don't understand where are you getting this error. What are you not able to do? That's what I would say, ask, right? Okay, there's a screenshot there, and it's from Tazwar, and I'm seeing that somehow my WhatsApp is not working in my computer. Oh, okay. So you click RDP client, and yeah, so it's okay. like keep going, right? So if you, when you're not able to do something that I'm doing, then just tell me, right? RDP client, so you're seeing the error here on the top here. Thank you, Tazwar, for sharing that. Fail to describe instance. Okay, so let me know when you're not able to do something. It's just a warning, I guess, so I just skipped it and move on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So guys, just keep going, right? I understand there's a warning, ignore it, keep going. Okay, so RDP client here, and then let just see this procedure now. There's a get password here. Everyone sees the get password. So we need to click on top of that, right? If we don't have the password, we cannot connect to the machine. Then we're going to download Remote Desktop and connect. So if you click on the get password now, then you should be on this screen. So everyone on this screen? Yes. Okay, thank you for that reply. And key pair associated. Now it is asking, hey, where is that file called KP 10 February 2021 and your name? We know where it is, right? It is in downloads folder, right? So I'm going to click browse and I'm going to go to the downloads folder in my laptop or desktop, right? Pretty simple and straightforward stuff. So I'm going to click browse and I'm going to go to my downloads folder. And yes, there is my key. KP 10 February 2021, your first name, and it ends with the extension .pem. Even if you don't see the extension, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Your name is showing there, KP 10 February 2021, and your name is showing there, that's enough. Double click this, select and open, or double click this, right? Select, open. Okay, so now you see this, that there is a private key showing here, and it also shows you decrypt password. That's what you wanted. When you provide the private key, it will tell you the password of the administrator, and then you will be able to RDP into that machine with that username password, right? If you don't have the password, obviously how can you connect to that machine? How can you log into that machine? So we got that password because of the private key that we provided here. So I'm going to click decrypt password now. Go ahead and click decrypt password, and there's your password. Yay! Or yay. Okay, so I'm in the habit, and you should also be that. Just copy the whole information here somewhere. Copy password, username, public DNS. Where? In Notepad. Just open a Notepad and just copy that. Why? Well, we may need this information later as well, then you have to come back here again and then check it out. Why don't you just temporarily put it in the Notepad and minimize the Notepad, right? That's just good practice. Okay. Oh yes, I like this one. Yeah, cool. So now this is just extra security, and that's very good, right? Now the next step is still on this page. What is the next step? You got the password? Yes. Now let's download remote desktop file. Why? Because now through this file, when we download it, we're going to double click it, and it's going to launch your RDP connection, right? So download. So let's click that, download remote desktop file. It's gonna ask, hey, where to download, and its name is your machine name, right? So, and I'm downloading it in the downloads folder. So go ahead and save, and then double click it, right? Go ahead and save, and here it comes. It's an RDP file, and you just double click it, and it starts connecting you to that virtual machine that is started, right? So click it. It shows you, hey, it's a self-signed certificate. So do you trust this machine? I say yeah. So connect, right? I'm gonna connect. So after double clicking that download RDP, I'm clicking the connect button. Mine doesn't show my name on it, which is okay, Amir. It's okay, doesn't matter. I'm using Mac and I cannot open file. Oh, well, Mac is uncharted territory, as I say, and or it's we are planet Earth and Mac is Mars. So you need putty? Okay, David. So there you go. Oh, Messereth, you're also on Mac. Oh man, I'm also using Mac, having same problem. What? Hey, so many people are using Mac. Why? I'm unable to understand why people buy Mac. Okay, it's I'm not against Mac. Mac is okay, but you can see that many common things we can't really do. But hey, there you go. David says you need putty. Oh man, serious? Okay, so 4 people are using Mac, and guys, if I were you, I would Google it. That how to RDP from Mac. Hey, RDP is not. It's a Windows thing, right? It's not a Mac thing. But you have the address and everything. So how to connect from Mac to a Windows machine? You can try to Google it and share it with other Mac people. Custom CPU soon. Compatibility only gonna get worse. Yeah. Okay, so those who are using Mac, take a picture of your Mac laptop as a next screenshot. That this is the reason you were not able to. I just need a picture of your Mac as a next screenshot. So guys, those others who are not using Mac and or are here, just go ahead and click connect. I'm gonna click connect now, and okay, we know the password. So administrator and this DNS name of the machine. So I'm gonna go back here and copy this password. And then I'm gonna press O and K. Just give the password, right? Okay, River has already connected. Oh, this is actually self-signed certificate. So just press yes after putting the password, and so your next screenshot is screenshot number 6, connected to AWS EC2 Instance. So next screenshot, so when you're fully logged into this, wait for you to log in, and once you're logged in like this, and on the top there's a blue bar showing, right? So just simply put there whatever else is opening, it's okay, but blue bar up there is showing, and connected to AWS EC2 instance. Connected to AWS EC2 instance. Connected to AWS EC2 instance. Take a screenshot there. I'm going to take a screenshot now. I'll it's on top of it, yeah. And then going there, so screenshot 6, connected or ting whatever, connected to AWS EC2 instance. That's the name of screenshot 6, connected to AWS EC2 instance. Take a screenshot here. And I'll just put that here, have as well, screenshot 6. Right? It was okay, it's way up. So we're connected to our EC2 instance, and this is it has a private IP as well as it's a public IP as well, and mine is actually AMD architecture, and it has 1 GB RAM, right? Network performance is low to moderate. I have availability zone US East 1. It's T2.micro, the second smallest instance. There's a smaller than this as well, and then the host name is just random, right? So, and can you show me that sample? Yeah, sure. So, well, it shows. Let me make it small. It shows like this, right? So once you're logged in, that's it. If the Windows background is showing, and that's it. Does the blue bar need to show in the screen? No, it does not have to. If it's not there, it's okay. As long as this blue desktop is showing, that's all. So the info on the right side should show in the pic. No. Alexander, can you please show again where to take a screenshot? Yeah, this is just the inside of a AWS virtual machine. That's it. Inside of a AWS virtual machine. Whether blue bar is there or not, whether left side is there or not, as long as you see the desktop here, this one, you're good. Okay, cool. Alexander, I was connecting to VM. Okay. So guys, if you have taken the screenshot there, so what we need to do is, hopefully everyone took the screenshot 6 as well, and what we need to do now is oh, okay, that echo is also me. So we're going to go back to the dashboard here. So let's go back to the dashboard, right? You were here in this remote connection. So there's a cancel button here, right? So go to the cancel button. We need to go back to the EC2 dashboard. Once you click the cancel here, now this is the dashboard that you see there, right? And what we need to do is that we need to delete our machine now. Yay! What? Hey, prof, after so much effort we created the machine and you're telling us to delete it? Yes, because I want to show you how to delete it properly. And that's gonna take time as well, right? So the next screenshot is where instead of running, your virtual machine with your name must be showing terminated. Terminator, I'll be back, right? You heard that, right? Before. So anyway, this is instead of running, when it says in red terminated, that's the next screenshot we need. So what is terminated? Terminated means deleted, right? So what you're going to do is, whether the virtual machine is started or shut down, doesn't matter. You can go ahead to the dashboard. Hopefully everyone's on the dashboard now, and you can select this your virtual machine only. Just check your name and select it now, right? And after that, there's an instance state here. I hope everyone's seeing the instance state. So select your machine name, go to instance state up there, and there is terminate instance, right? Hopefully everyone is able to go for terminate instance. So if you see terminate instance, go ahead and click this. What it will do? It will shut down this machine, and it will say shutting down. Then after some time, it will say terminated. So once the terminated is there, that will be screenshot number 7. AWS EC2 instance terminated. Right. So I'm just gonna click terminate now for my machine, and it shows this message that your disk or Ebs volume will be gone as well. Yes, it's okay. Please delete my virtual disk that I created with the virtual machine as well. So I'm going to click terminate. Now once you click terminate, you can see my machine here. It is just saying shutting down for now, right? I'm gonna refresh that. I expect that everyone would have done this. Oh yes, everyone's shutting down other than Cherise and Tazwar. Refresh. I'll refresh again. Whoa, Dante's machine is terminated already. Woohoo. Ethan terminated. Okay, not Ethan. I mean Ethan virtual machine terminated. And Tazwar machine is still running. Why? So those who see terminated, go ahead, take a screenshot of your machine showing terminated. Screenshot number 7, Ec2 instance terminated. Screenshot number 7, Ec2 instance terminated. Tazwar, can you reach that tab where you're in that dashboard? And in the dashboard you have instances here. Others, take a screenshot of the machine if it is terminated, and Tazwar, you have to go to the tabs up there and you have to check which tab has this console. If you see that console where RDP is showing, then click cancel on that console. If you see that page where RDP is showing, where your administrator username password was showing, click cancel, then you will see that dashboard. Okay, share your screenshot on WhatsApp. Guys, take a screenshot number 7 now. Yes, you're on that page which I am saying. So Tazwar, do you see cancel on the bottom right? Just click that cancel. You're on the RDP page, right? Click cancel. Cherise, it's AWS EC2 instance terminated. AWS EC2 instance. Tazwar, did you click cancel? So do you see this dashboard here? Select your VM. This is your Tazwar VM. Just select it like this and select it, and then go to instance state and terminate instance. So select it and go to instance state, and bottom one is terminate instance, right? Hopefully you got it. So let me just take a so I'll select mine. It shows terminated, and I'll take a screenshot of the terminated, and screenshot 7 AWS EC2 instance terminated. So this is the name. Alright, good. So when you see red terminated there, just take a screenshot and write this AWS EC2 instance terminated. Okay guys, so collect your screenshots into MS Word document and upload it on week 5, which has not been created yet, so I'll be creating that now. So I'll just quickly create that. Week 5. I created another week 4. Wait, guys, wait. Week 5, 10 Feb. Okay, go inside week 5 and assessment. So upload week 5. Then deadline is tonight. Okay guys, refresh your week 5 and go inside and upload your screenshot for MS Word. I'm going to stop the